What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another weekly update. So I hope everybody's having a lovely day. And with that being said, let's jump right into the TA. So just letting you guys know before we start the video, I'm going to try and make this a 10 to 20 minute weekly report. I don't know if we're gonna stick with that time frame there, but that's the goal of this video. So let's quickly run through things. We're going to start off with the weekly time frame, and then we'll go over the daily, then the smaller time frames, and we will come up with a likely scenario for the week. I did just drop the written update over written report, written update, whatever you want to call it, over on Weeble. I'll be posting it to Facebook soon. If you do want to see those written updates, I do think they're extremely valuable. If you do want to share the value, go over to Weeble or Facebook and look up Trader Henry J. There I am. All right, so with that being said, let's get into the TA. We'll start off here with the weekly charts. All right, and I actually want to start off with the VIX. Let's just take that off. It is not useful anymore. All right, so the first thing I'm going to point out is that you made this lower low there, and you have held it here on your RSI, and you also have the bullish divergence going on your stochastic there. All right, something I also want to point out is we have not been down here since before this bear market, guys. So this is likely to be one heck of a rip. All right, I'm just saying we're gonna look at something on the daily time from Mr. VIX when we're going over those, when we're going over all of the indices on the daily time frame. But for now, let's talk about the weekly charts. You do have, in my opinion, one hell of a setup for a rip. All right, now I do want to point this out, and this is something I pointed out immediately in my written update. I've just noticed something that I should have been watching last week. Sorry that I haven't seen it until now. All right, but when I do the weekly updates or the weekly reports, I'm actually sitting here for hours analyzing a chart. I'm seeing, hey, is there anything I missed? Is there anything that is on this chart that I need to put into my analysis? And all in all, guys, I do want to point out something that I noticed. All right, yes, we do know that the bottoms are going to be marked with the doji candlestick right, or not doji, the bullish harami candlestick right there. All right, you have one right here, you have one right there, you have one right here, you have one right here. All right, do we have one right there? We do have one right there. This one we did not have one, but as we can see now, it was not a major bottom like these other ones. I mean, I guess we could take that one out of the mix. But yeah, it's not a major bottom where you had sustained rally here on the VIX for weeks at a time. We just came down, we came up, and we came right back down to where we started from, which maybe that's why we never got it. We got one right here. I thought that was going to be it, but hey, we invalidated that one too. All right, but keep in mind where we are on the monthly time frame. You do have this bullish harami candlestick formation there, all right, which just indicates that, hey, during this month, we're going to be seeing higher prices on the VIX. And then you do have the bearish engulfing candlestick on SPX, and we had one of those right here. We had one of these right here. All right, and you had your harami. You did have that, and you did end up going lower. All right, to invalidate something, you have to close above it. But I don't really look to monthly and weekly candlesticks for confirmation. I have just seen throughout this bear market that, hey, if you are waiting for that, you're going to be missing the move. So yeah, I don't wait for them. All right, daily candlesticks, though, yes, you need to wait for confirmation. But what I will say right now is we are trading in a fake market. All right, so all in all, there are the most tricks you're ever going to, literally ever see, ever. All right, in this market. All right, so we do have a bullish engulfing candlestick. Oh, and by the way, before we actually go over the daily time frame on the indices, let's look at the weekly time frame because I completely forgot to finish that up. Over here, you have a, I actually looked this up. I guess this is a white Marabuzu candlestick going into this, or it's something like that. I guess you can't have that, a little wick on the top on that candlestick, but that is a continuation pattern. You have the tested performance of it is bullish continuation 55% of the time. All right, or not bullish continuation, but just continuation 55% of the time. But I'm just saying, guys, I'm going to tell you guys what I realized, all right? And this is something big, which means we probably are going to be going up this week, but I do think we're going to have a slight drop before we end up having that. I will be taking advantage of that because the probability is that, hey, you're going to form these before you end up seeing your downfall, all right? And we didn't form it this week, so I am looking for that to happen here, all right? All right, so What is that I noticed? All right, all of these tops are marked by doji candlesticks. All right, you have an indecision candlestick, you have just a bearish candlestick formation. All right, or that indecision candlestick. You need a topping tail. You need a bearish engulfing candlestick. You need an indecision candlestick. You just need one of these to mark your tops, and we don't have one. That is what this is, which means like we're either going to trade flat this week, or you get your and form the doji candlestick, that indecision candlestick, or you are going to be forming your bearish engulfing candlestick. It's one of the two. All right. I don't know how it's going to end up playing out, but I do. I did also notice something that was on Mr. VIX that is on all bottoms that also ties perfectly into that. All right. So right here, you have your topping tail, and it's a bearish engulfing candlestick, and boom, it led the way for that right there. So you have let's just make that. So you have one right there. All right there you have that. And keep in mind, you do have these topping tails right there that ended up leading you to probably 10 more percent of downside there. But yeah, you have your doji candlestick perfectly touching the trend line there. All right, which that's actually what formed this trend line in the first place. You have this bearish Rami candlestick formation right there with that also acts as that topping tail that also wicked up to the trend line. All right, you have your indecision candlestick right here, and that ended up producing that. All right, and then we technically do have this as a topping tail there, but you do see like, hey, we're above there, so invalid. But again, this is on the weekly time frame, so I don't really care about that. I'm just pointing out that, hey, we are probably going to see a topping tail, the indecision candlestick, or a bearish engulfing candlestick. We need something to signify the trend here, that like, hey, we're shifting. All right, we need a bearish candlestick to form. And the reason I say it can be the bearish engulfing candlestick, we did have that one right there, but I am specifically really looking at this bad boy right here, because you started your downfall and you had this counter trend. All right, obviously we had more of an aggressive counter trend here. I was saying that, hey guys, like if we do get this counter trend, it's going to be one hell of a counter trend. All right, it was setting up for a squeezy McSqueeze action, or some squeezy McSqueeze action. We had the 2 put to call ratio, like historic spikes. All right, in the same 2-week period. At the same time, we were consolidating, as I just noticed, had like not everyone, but like so many freaking people were saying we're about to fall off the cliff, and I actually ended up also getting a little scared down there. And guys, this is just another example of don't buy into the crowd. Like straight up, the crowd is normally wrong. I remember I was thinking like the crowd when we were down here. Guess what? I turned out to be wrong. All right, that was that. All right, and when you are thinking with the crowd, you're just gonna be wrong. All right, a lot of people ended up like, I may have my puts down right now, but I mean, I'm trading back to life here, and I mean, in the end, all right, like I am going to have my money all back, and with abundances of more. So I don't really care. All right, lesson has been learned, which is hey, just don't do what I have done now. Okay, don't sit there foaming. Don't sit there just loading the boat on things. Stick to the plan. If you have a plan, just stick to the plan. All right, because the plan literally would have worked, and I just, yeah, I didn't stick to the plan. That is literally just it's a piece of evidence that, hey, I got to grow my patience. That is the factor out of my equation here that is completely missing. So that is what I will be working on. All right, but let's not talk about me. Let's carry on. All right. So that is what I am going to be looking for. I'm going to be looking for an indecision candlestick, or something that can happen, because again, this is the counter trend after our first wave of selling here. Maybe it does play out like that, where you have that, and then boom, bearish engulfing candlestick that marks that. But I'm going to be talking about why I don't think that is going to be the case. I think we are going to get that topping tail, all right, which can be seen on the daily time frame. But before we do that, just a little reminder, guys. All right, DIA is still all the way up here. You're not going on unless you think QE is being turned on and we're going to stop tightening. This is not going to happen. It's not going to be sustained rally. If you do end up like, just look at it this way: if you break over here, you're going to get everyone more excited, just to come back up to highs. All right, the Fed has literally just told us in the minutes that well, they didn't tell us. They were talking to themselves. All right, we just got the we got the notes of the minutes. Yeah, guys, their biggest risk is a market rally. Guess what's happening right now? We have a market rally. So we do have Brainerd coming out and speaking out on I think it's Thursday at 1:15 p.m. All right, that is a Fed official that could end up throwing water on this fire. Not sure, like, I don't know what catalyst is going to come along, but I do know the charts do predict the news. So the narrative is likely to shift. I want to remind everyone that, like, hey, did everyone forget about the narrative that caused this? All right, last time we hit the trend line, what caused this, guys? The recession narrative, like straight up. That's everyone was panicking. All right, good news was bad news because good news just meant recession. All right. Oh, people are finally seeing like what they wanted to see, and now it's the recession trade. Yeah, well, that's what's taking place, and I guarantee that is what's about to happen again. All right, you have this is the hey, inflation is finally showing. Like we have three CPI prints that are they're coming down. All right, we continuously see improvement there. But again, people are forgetting what the Fed just told us. They literally can't have a market rally happening. All right, and like at the end of the day, they also did tell us that hey, they're going to keep rates elevated over 5% for all of 2023, which means we're about to have a whole lot of pain. All right, is everyone forgetting about that one? Well, yeah, they are. All right, so what's probably going to happen? Well, Fed officials are probably going to remind people that of what they said not too long ago. Now that we are rallying, all right, narrative, bullish narrative. We're about to have the bearish narrative again. Don't know what it's going to be. It could be this debt selling thing. It could be earnings. It could be, again, it could go right back into the recession trade. All right. It literally could exactly be that. Just go right back to the narrative that everyone just forgot about. And the Fed just has to remind everyone. I don't know how it's going to go down. But again, the narrative will match the charts because the chart will prevail. All right. So we're actually going to start off before we talk about SPX because this is what this is going to tie into what I think is the most likely scenario for this week. All right, which again, I mean, it's not. I'm not going to say it's ideal, and I would be happy if this didn't happen. But we are still going to. I mean, I'm not going to like. I'm not biased here. All right, I'm not going to bring my bias into these videos. All right, I clearly do have a bearish bias because of my position. But like at the end of the day, yeah, I'm not going to let it affect the analysis. So here we go. All right. First of all, CCI doesn't come down here. It's one time since 2010, but that's not important. All right. What is important is something I noticed throughout this bear market. We have had no bottoms on the VIX that haven't been marked by a bullish divergence. All right. Literally none. All right. None of them. All right. You had this one right here. You went right there. You had this bad boy right here when you went right there. All right. You had this one right there. All right, now, yeah, so this was it right here. And then you had that right there where you made the lower low there. All right, and then we have, what is this most recent one we had? I'm pretty sure that had a bullish divergence there. All right, guys, so my point stands. We have seen no bottom on the VIX form without a bullish divergence on your CCI, on the daily CCI. Now, I will say, all right, I'm going to remind everyone what I've been saying, all right, and what I've had on my chart for quite some time. I deleted it briefly because I didn't think it was going to be needed, but no, it literally decided to hold exactly on our trend line here, all right? Like this is exactly where we're bouncing, which is pretty freaking cool, all right? We're literally hinging right off of it. That could be a little cleaner right there. Maybe, whatever. Whatever, it doesn't really matter. Either way, guys, you have a triple bullish divergence going on the daily RSI here on Mr. VIX, all right? But you do not have the bullish divergence on your CCI, which leads me to believe the trend is not going to change. We're probably going to be seeing a bullish divergence form on the VIX, all right? On the VIX's CCI, we already have the triple bullish divergence going on here. You already have your stochastic hinged up from overbought or oversold territory. All right. So oscillators are all in agreement with each other. I just do want to see that bullish divergence take place. All right. And again, this is why I say like that sucks. All right. But I'm not going to come here with my bias. All right. So I actually do have a pretty clear picture of what is likely to take place this week. If like that is going, if the trend is going to prevail and not change here. All right. And we're going to see another bottom get marked by a bullish divergence on the CCI. We're going to need to see this thing come up, which is likely going to be from an update here. All right. And then we're going to need to see VIX make a lower low. And then we're going to need to see something like that. All right. And then we will have our bullish divergence. All right. Because VIX moves opposite to the market. All right. So if VIX goes up, typically SPX will be coming down. All right. I would not be surprised. All right. And this, like, we're gonna put together the likely scenario at the end of end of this, but like, I would not be surprised to see Tuesday you gap down. All right. Maybe you don't gap down, but either way, let's just say it's a red day. All right. It's a red day. I don't know how big that red day is. I do. We're gonna talk about the 4 hour and the 1 hour time frame as well. All right. But yeah, I don't know how big that red day will be, but something to bring the VIX up. All right. To bring it up, and then something to then bring it down. All right. But you're going to form that bullish divergence here. And that means that we're going to have a down day on Tuesday, most likely. All right. You have a down day on Tuesday. And then you have the you would have an up day on Wednesday. And then you would have, wait, am I bugging? No, you have the down. So, oh, I'm talking about things in reverse because VIX moves reverse. All right. All right. So what VIX is implying is that we have a down day here. We have an up day here, and that would form your divergence there on Mr. VIX. All right. That would form exactly what we got going right here. All right. Sorry, I confused myself. Oh, Jesus. Choking on some Cheerios. Nice. Nice, dude. It's from earlier this morning. All right, so I gotta finish up with this pretty quick here because I do have to head on out to work. But yeah, guys, all right, that is what I think is going to be taking place. I don't think we get a bottom without that bullish divergence on the CCI forming. We already are seeing it hinge. All right, so we are probably going to see it come up, and I don't know if this takes like all week or if this happens, like, you know, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Then it's there. All right. But yeah, guys, I am looking for that narrative shift, and this is likely to go along with that. All right. But until a catalyst comes along, all right, which if Thursday is the only catalyst, which is the Fed speakers this week, all right, you have Brainerd speaking, and then I think we also have a Fed speaker on Friday. All right. So if those are the only two catalysts I see, and then you also have the debt ceiling. I don't know if they're going to be discussing the debt ceiling in these. But either way, that would pretty much align with what I'm saying here. All right. So we pretty much will end up by the end of the week, we'll trade flat. And then that's why I say I think we have the doji candlestick or topping tail coming in this week, which would also probably form a bearish Harami candlestick here on or candlestick formation here on the weekly chart. All right. And that's because of what I just pointed out on the VIX. I'm sorry I didn't see it earlier. All right. Now we do know. All right. Bottoms on VIX need the bullish divergences when they form. They mean something. We need to be seeing them. All right. We're not seeing it yet. So I don't think that trend's going to change. So that's that. All right. But yeah, let's look at the 4 hour time frame on SPX because we do have the triple bearish divergence going on, which is kind of a quadruple bearish divergence. You got 1 point, you have 2 point, you have 3 points of divergence. Now you have 4, all right? And that all stems right there, all the way back to this candlestick right here. All right, this is on SPX's 4 hour time frame. We have a triple bearish divergence, triple or quadruple, whatever you want to call it. We have a big bearish divergence going right into trendline resistance. All right, and then on SPY, you also have the same exact thing. All right, with one more point of divergence here. All right, going in by exactly 2 trendline resistance. I mean exactly 2 trendline resistance. That is insane. All right, absolutely insane right there. But I will remind you guys of what I told you guys about last week. Hey, every time we've seen a 4 hour bearish divergence form on SPX throughout this bear market, we have seen a 2 to 5% drop before any meaningful rebound. All right, or not meaningful. I said any decent rebound. All right. So I don't know if we get that 2 to 5% on Tuesday. All right. We get like a really bad Tuesday, and then maybe we fall into Wednesday, and then we end up rallying on Wednesday, and that would give us what we were just talking about on the VIX. All right. I am not sure. All right, but it is fully on the table that the 4 hour bearish divergence ends up playing just like it doesn't even tie into this move here. What if it ends up playing out, and what if we end up seeing the oscillators come down very quickly? Like, what if we get a very sharp decline? We get a gap down? I have no idea. But either way, just know that that is what this 4 hour bearish divergence is going to bring. It's going to bring at least a 2 to 5% move to the downside. We are doing it right up into resistance. All right, and then there's also the chance that we just have a very a very light decline here on Tuesday, and then maybe we only fall like 1% or something, and we rebound. That would still give it set the VIX up for exactly what I just said needs to set up. All right. Oh, and look at that. All right, VIX is it already has it closed out with a 4-hour bullish Rami candlestick right there. That's pretty cool as well. Maybe that's indicative of what we're about to be seeing. I don't know. All right. But we look over here to the SPYs. I think, yeah, I saw it on SPY. Our SPX actually has a bearish divergence going on the RSI here, on the 1-hour time frame, and we have the inverted hammer that can act as that topping tail there. So maybe that is indicative of also what we're about to be seeing going into Tuesday. Either way, I do think we have some downside going into Tuesday with where we are right now. And again, that's the only thing that really makes sense if VIX is going to end up forming that. We got to form this bullish divergence in order to get our bottom. All right. So we want to see this start playing out this week, or start forming this week. So then we could see it start playing out going over into the next 1 to 2 weeks. Or again, I mean, it doesn't have to happen. All right. But that's why I do think it is going to happen. Yeah. Or we end up just getting a fat bearish engulfing candlestick that forms on SPY. And yeah, I mean, that would be that. But I do think it is more likely of what I just said, where we end up, which it's unfortunate, right? But again, I'm not going to come here with a bias. Yeah, I mean, I think we end up by the end of the week, by at least Thursday, we end up trading flat. And then maybe those Fed speakers do end up giving us some oomph to the downside. All right, so resistance that I will be watching is it's literally just this. All right, we have one resistance level that hasn't been hit yet. Obviously, we do have QQ's trend line here. I don't think QQ's trend line will be hit, but there's a chance that we do end up pulling back and then coming up to this gap fill. All right, and that could act as resistance. But I already told you guys that, hey, we have the setup. I told you guys in Thursday's video, I said, like, it would be very troll to not see SPY run up and hit its trend line, which is why I thought, like, at least we would be seeing this. All right. Now we're primed for a rug pull on SPY and SPX, but I will say I didn't see the thing I just called out on the VIX here. I did not. It's not something that I wasn't seeing. I wasn't sitting here for like an hour analyzing charts before I made my weekly report over on Webull, and that's something I noticed in it. So, I mean, again, I'm sorry for not noticing sooner, but hey, I mean, everyone here is they're making their own choices. That is like, you're not relying on me. I'm just letting you know. Like, if you are, like, hey, you're gonna lose. I will come out alive. I will be able to manage my trade, and if someone is just blindly following what I'm doing, like, hey. I'm just saying, it's not the best idea. It is not the best idea. I want everyone to learn how to fish for themselves, because then, yeah, because then you can't blame others for your mistakes. All right, or you can't. You need to make your own mistakes. All right, is what I'm getting at. So there's that. All right, don't just make my mistakes, because then nothing's coming out of it. All right, I'm getting something out of my mistakes. You guys, like, if you're just making them, like, maybe you're probably not getting anything out of my mistakes. They're my mistakes. All right. But yeah, all in all, guys, that is the likely scenario. We are likely to fall going into Tuesday. We're probably going to have a pop back up. All right. And this could make for a very volatile trading week. Maybe we do end up having a very volatile, I think we had like a $10 trading range down here. Maybe we do end up seeing the 390 to 4,000 range. Maybe that is the trading range that we trade up to this week, and then we end up, so we consolidate up here and then have that big breakdown. So we had the consolidation down here after a move down. All right, that led to a move up and a rather aggressive counter trend rally. All right, then maybe we do have that little consolidation up here, and then we end up you know, falling off a cliff. All right, obviously, guys, things can happen very quick. We can just hey, something can come out of nowhere. I want to reference what we got going on here, and again, I'm gonna finish this video up in a second. But we do have this right here. All right, someone had commented, a little troll. We do not have a freaking put to call ratio coming in at above 2 right before earnings. No, we do not. All right. But again, like, anybody who decided to roast me on, like, saying, hey, we have plenty of fuel for a short squeeze. Hey, you ate your words on that one. All right. Like, I was literally telling everyone, like, hey, all right, like, People are mega bearish. All right. Like there is the chance you fall off a cliff, but it makes no sense to me. And like you also, again, you had that feel for the short squeeze. It made sense to have that counter trend move. All right. And that is what ended up falling. But again, no crystal ball. I mean, I never knew like how big this counter trend was going to be. But as we started going into it, started saying like, hey, the perfect scenario, the too good to be true setup is we come back up and hit these trend line. All right, so now I think we sharply reverse off that trend line. Do we consolidate before we do that? Maybe. All right, that is what I'm getting at. We are likely to consolidate before doing that. Sucks, but it is what it is. All right, it literally just is what it is. But yeah, like all in all, the resistance I'm watching for, the only resistance I'm really watching is you got this gap fill at QQ. I don't think you make it up here to your trendline resistance. You would be coming up to yeah, that would be 280 285 to 290 up there. I don't think that is going to be happening. But yeah, guys, that is the video. That is the update. All right. Before we get out of here, we can quickly just look at, hey, what earnings do we have? Tuesday, guys, you got Goldman Sachs, you have Morgan Stanley, you have Silvergate. That is might be a bad one for the crypto space. All right. We could look at Bitcoin before we could leave too. Wednesday, what do we have? We have Charles Schwab. All right, that is that. And I think we have Procter and Gamble, and that is the only. Oh, that's my bank. Really the only big ones here. All right, so I guess the big ones are going to be at the beginning of the week, and that is about it. Over here to the economic calendar, as you can see. All right, we have that on Tuesday. All right, we do have, in my opinion, we don't really have anything. You do have PPI, so that is actually something that I did not see before, but that is there. That could end up producing a catalyst for the market to do something off of. Not sure. All right, it could come in bullishly. I'm just saying that could end up. You could fall into this, and then that could give you that pop that I was just talking about on Wednesday. All right, and make everyone forget about like, hey, things are actually pretty bad here. All right, but again, like this is the narrative right now. You got the bullish narrative. You're about to have the bearish narrative come back in flying colors. All right, I just don't know how it is going to do so. All right. But yeah, so this is what I was saying. You have Brainerd speaking, and then you also have this guy speaking. But again, this is on foreign relations, so I don't know if that is actually going to be something that affects the market. All right, guys. So with that being said, look at what is happening with Bitcoin. Because we broke the 200 MA, and we didn't do so last time. All right, as you see, this is something that causes some reactions. But last time we hit it, we fell massively, and we fell over 50% from there. We are now getting over it. I don't think it's going to sustain this move over it. I think we are definitely going to be coming down into the zone. All right, which is literally, guys, where I get these zones from, right? The zone on SPY, the zone on Bitcoin. It's literally just the support and resistance, and I just put a zone in between them. That is literally it. But because Bitcoin did break the 200 MA, I think this is a pretty good sign that, like, hey, after we do see this next leg down, all right, we're probably going to have a sustained rally over that 200 MA. And it's probably going to produce some sick, nasty gains on the crypto miners. All right, just look at what is happening with our girl Mara. All right, this is something I kind of wish I freaking just went all in on this. You know, that'd be pretty cool. But nevertheless, got wrecked in my trading account and had my $5,000. Yeah, only 5,000 freaking dollars at our 350 entry. So there was that. So that's cool. That's cool. But yeah, guys, I am still going to be waiting for Mara to come back down. I don't know where Mara is going to be coming back down to now that we've seen this. I didn't think it would be this aggressive, but I did say like, hey, 40% short. This is going to rip massively when Bitcoin decides to start seeing all that buying pressure come in. Look at all that. Look at that volume coming in too. It's beautiful, beautiful. But yeah, guys, that is pretty much it. I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.